Yeah, Lee.
Some things are worth waiting for.
Yeah, this pint, maybe.
You know, the two of us meeting like this, some people might consider it to have grave implications.
Relax, Dostoevsky. It's not that serious. Think of it as a dramatic shorthand.
Or you have notions, and you just don't like working with other people.
There's that. In the shadow of Arthur's brewery, there was a small old pub. And there worked a barman, a distinctive dresser who'd play fool the guesser in the vein of a Dust Bowl carnival man. Rhyme is cheap. Well, then you so may call me stingy. He could pour 4 at a time, take 4 orders more, thin slice the punters in line, sizing them up, and in quick procession tell each of them their age, weight and profession. Brewer, cooper, tradesman, boardroom director, lab technician, mailboy, to strong-armed, barrel-chested man, and cat wrangler. Cats. The brewery hired a clouder, 12 to be exact, to protect the grain from their mortal enemy. Now you see, that granularity, typical for a community with hands that tend to grand plans in the land of grain and hops. For behind Arthur's gates was a place of work, wonder, people. And the Guinness Storehouse is the keeper of their tale. It's one home that holds many stories, if you will. There's a whisper of Pompeii on those stones. The story's been worn smooth, the cobbles rounded by words and workers' shoes, slippy as the city in its specificity. It can be all things to all people. There was a bell in Rialto, its clapper calling these workers to labour from cottages built by the same hands that brute their wages, housing first and always. In centuries gone, regal on the steps of their stead, the women of the liberties were heard to have said, "Catch yourself a Guinness, man, alive or dead, preferably alive." Goes without saying, and yeah, here comes the get. The promise to be looked after from cradle to the grave. They paid from the midwife's hand to the undertaker's spade to the cooper's stave, bending the wood to his will, shaping vessels, running hands along the line of the grain. The oak runs a clean course and in the fullness of time arches back around communities, bonded by wood and work, bound tight in iron and family. Boys became lads, lads became men, and men alongside the women became stories, pressed in ledgers. Sepia photos kept safe in basements until archivists below, lifting history from dust into light in boiler suits, and patience brushed time, wear, pigeon dirt off memory, and giving it back to the present. The names, the records of those who built this brewery. The Guinness Storehouse is a repository of both lifetime and labour. Red-bricked atlas, steel-ribbed, carrying the sky like the workers who built it, arms squared in defiance of gravity, stepping on Georgian shoulders to scrape a Victorian sky. It now towers above the city as a glass-eyed witness. Red brick, still warm from the kiln at Dolphin's barn, the breadth of clay becoming wall, a thumbprint left when the mason paused. The stone remembers laughter, talk, slagging, graft. They built this place out of the stuff liberty itself was made of. The hardest job in the place was the smile at the top of the escalator, the honest welcome that never breaks, the people that cross its threshold every year. Each adds a sentence to the story of this place, bringing with it community and connection. Behind the glass, behind the shine, there's still the pulse, the hum and the power of the city that built it, the weight of every hand that turned the valve, pushed the cart or rang a bell. The Guinness Storehouse stands not just as a bastion of history, but as a keeper of culture, a spark that kindles new music, a cradle for artists yet to come. Each year, its gates swing wide to a chorus of millions of voices from the four corners of the world and from just around the corner too. A mother and daughter from the Liberties pour laughter into glasses behind the bar, while lads tell stories that stretch longer than the slow, settling tales. Rising, resting, until they find their calm. All the way to the top. Glass and sky take over. The city spreads below. The air up here fizzes with memory. Faces leaning against the glass, lit from below, as if the city itself were raising a toast. Dublin, a heart that ferments its own remembering. The gravity of work and welcome. What's made here is the patience of the hand. The craft keeps its shape. The past still breathing, steady as yeast in the dark. 25 years of a building built to work. They're built to remember. A place full of storytellers doing what they do, telling stories, 260 years in length. A life measured in Guinness. Waiting to settle.